Welcome to Inside Games, the only gaming news show brave enough to unironically like Star Wars Outlaws. Yes, that's right. Lawrence and I unironically like it.
Dun dun. We need like a little dramatic sting. Hey, we can like it. I mean, geez, Bruce, it's amazing what a paid trip to Disneyland will do to sway your opinions, huh?
That'll make me play a game for 30 hours. Whatever. Hashtag disclosure. The game's honestly, if you're watching Lawrence and I stream, you know we both really enjoy it and we both think it's good. You can share street corn with your little lizard dog friend. The Nick's QTEs with eating are just amazing.
Impossibly adorable. It's hard to hate on that. But there is a way, because there's something that sucks really bad about the game, and that's starting the entire game over because of a glitch from early access.
That is horrible. Objectively horrible. But I guess it seems the problem's kind of been fixed. So if you're thinking about getting the game, you should be safe at this point now that it's in full release.
Yeah, from that, but other people have other things that they're mad about, so we'll get into that. We have a handful of other eyebrow-raising stories for y'all on this week's Inside Games Roundup. The rumored PlayStation 5 Pro might be announced real soon. We got some intrigue on Black Myth Wukong's absence on Xbox, and finally, some news on Dino Crisis.
we were looking for that, I guess. Don't get your hopes up. The news is why we haven't seen Dino Crisis in forever, and it's unlikely to change.
Yeah, nothing but uplifting gamer news this week, so let's throw it to our resident king of positivity to hear about the save file wrecking bugs in Star Wars Outlaws. Brian Gaar, take it away, please.
Yeah, Star Wars Outlaws released today, at least if you're watching on Friday, and some players already very mad. The adventure game from Massive Entertainment follows Kay Vess, who is, of course, a young scoundrel who assembles a team for a massive heist, doing outlaw stuff.
Early access players on the PS5, they paid to get into the early access, and they were not happy because some of them learned that all their progress had been wiped after they released a patch this week that left some players stranded in space, and that forced those people that paid for early access to restart their entire game.
That takes the wind out of your sails real bad. That's a kick in the privates. That used to happen a lot more often. Like in the 90s, there'd be a PC patch and your save file being validated. It's wild that it would pop up in the year of our Lord 2024. And it gets worse because, these are early access players, which means they paid more than $100 to get the gold edition to be able to play 3 days early.
It was impressive, too, how much playtime some people had racked up in just 3 days. Like, people had already gotten like 15, 20 hours in. So, people were very upset, understandably so. But don't worry, Ubisoft is here to make things right with an in-game Trailblazer trinket, along with some Connect units, 100 Ubisoft Connect units, so you can trade those in for in-game rewards, and sorry about that 20 hours down the toilet.
No, that absolutely sucks. Ubisoft should be giving them like free DLC or something. Just anything here. That doesn't make any sense. Practically speaking, it's kind of hard to say how exactly widespread the issue is, though. We haven't really figured this out. Eurogamer reports that, quote, this email has not been sent out to all Star Wars Outlaws players, because it hasn't. I'm on PC and I never got it. And only one of the Eurogamer reporters received the email.
We have seen a few very understandably unhappy individuals posting about getting the email in the Star Wars Outlaws subreddit, though all the chatter in any of those threads is more about how embarrassing the situation is rather than people saying, yes, it happened to me too. It's just a lot of, oh, this game sucked, blah, 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 Ubisoft.
Yeah, regardless, the game didn't necessarily get the old galactic glaze from the critics. Outlaws is sitting at a 77 on Metacritic. Last time we checked, firmly in okay territory. IGN called it a fun intergalactic heist adventure with great exploration, but they also said that it's hindered by simple stealth, repetitive combat, and a few too many bugs at launch.
Eurogamer said that the game suffers from not quite as good comparisons to franchises like Uncharted, Horizon, Assassin's Creed, and Dishonored. They added that, quote, Outlaws opts to tell a Star Wars heist story in a world after Andor, which has already done so with such sensitivity, humanity, and precision that Kay and Co.'s cameo-ridden non-event is unfortunately left feeling light years behind.
There's one cameo in the entire game, right? Yeah.
I mean, there's a couple. There's a couple.
I guess there's a few.
They're very minor, and that's not fan servicey, really, generally. Anyways.
Yeah. Anyway, hey, everything looks bad compared to Andor, so yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, that's true.
God As A Geek did like the game, though, saying that the game has a well-written story and is filled with exciting missions, solid gameplay, and some beautiful worlds to explore. We were kind of chatting about this before we started rolling on the episode, but the severe difference in opinion on this game has been really interesting to observe, especially given that it's not trying to necessarily do anything that's shocking or new. It's just kind of doing a lot of stuff all at once. As I said, I don't know, Bruce and I both admit to liking it. What do you guys make of the reception to the game, and especially like the very different polar viewpoints on it?
Brian, I'm curious to hear what you see, because I don't think you played this yet, right?
I haven't. It seems like, it seems like generally people think it's okay. Eurogamer kind of ripped it and said it kind of stripped off all the Ubisoft open world elements, which they kind of gave them credit for, but they were also like, that it was also kind of a fatal flaw because some of those open world elements were there for a reason. So I don't know, but I'm going to check it. I love Star Wars, and it seems like overall like a fun game. I mean, this early stuff, that sucks, but they'll get it ironed out.
Yeah, I've been saying I really love original trilogy Star Wars. So this game is like literally perfect for me. Like, I've been looking for an open world Star Wars game. Obviously, everybody has, but it's not in the prequels. It's in the originals. And so it's tailor-made for Bruce Green. So when I say I like the game, it's because, number one, I get to wander around in Tatooine and find Uncle Owen and Aunt Beru's farm. You know, like, that's great. Luke! I want to see their skeletons. Somebody show me Uncle Owen and Aunt Beru's skeletons. And I love to see it, and the way that Massive has constructed these environments, they look exactly like the movie. Like, it's picture perfect. And I'm enjoying the gameplay, and I'm enjoying the story. Like Lawrence said, it's really lighthearted and fun, but it's also not fan servicey. I don't know. I have a lot of positive things to say about it. Some negative things too, but generally positive. If you don't like Star Wars, I'm not sure that this game will be for you. I think you could probably be like, you just write this one off and move on if you have no attachment to Star Wars. Otherwise, I think you might enjoy it.
Yeah, I think that's a solid guideline. I typically don't like bland open world games that just give you laundry lists of things to do, but from what I see, which is a bit confusing because apparently none of the reviewers see the things that I see. This game has a lot of vibrance. I've been playing Sabacc a lot just because the music's really cool and there's a lot of cool atmosphere. I like a little droid that scoops up all the cards and stuff. You can share street food with your little friend. Every time you find a treasure, the camera kind of swings up and shows you this awesome panorama. It's just little things like that. Being able to lean against a bar and take in the atmosphere. Those things don't happen by accident. There's a lot of intentionality with this game, and they put a lot of love and craft pushed into all the corners. Where, yeah, Ubisoft games typically don't do that in the open world. It's just there's a base, there's enemies, there's random shit to pick up, and that's it. Outlaws has a lot more going on than that. And it's super weird to hear a lot of people talk about it as though that's what the game is. Maybe they just didn't trip into all the things that I happen to be finding and enjoying, or maybe they don't care for them. There's that too, but yeah, it's kind of surprising to me that it's at a 77 on Metacritic because I've played a lot of 77 games and this is leagues above them. But that's my take.
All right, next up, PS5 Pro might be coming really soon, and it might be fairly substantial, might be expensive. We're apparently going to get an announcement of the PS5 Pro very soon. That's according to the Deal Labs leaker Bill Kun, who is very well known for leaking upcoming games and hardware, specifically Sony stuff, so they're pretty respected. They said the new console, like I said, will be called the PS5 Pro.
Yeah, and they said word is coming, quote, very soon, with the official announcement set to be made during the first half of next month. We assume September here.
And Sony runs out of games. They got to release a new PlayStation. We got more details than even that, though. Bill Kun drew a sketch of the new machine, which I really like.
It's adorable.
Yeah. Said it looks very similar to the PS5 Slim models, although the Pro model will have 3 black stripes across the middle. The PS5 Triple. The leaker didn't know if the Pro model would come with a disk drive or not.
Yeah, and the reasoning, apparently Bill Kun had copyrighted images of the Pro, but didn't want to share them. Now, maybe just because they didn't want it tracked back or whatever. So I thought it was kind of smart to just draw a sketch. Yeah, like a courtroom sketch artist or something. Meanwhile, Jeff Grubb of Giant Bomb said on his podcast that the PS5 Pro was an open secret at Gamescom, adding that he gave that kind of $600 and wouldn't be surprised at $700 range. And that, he said, will definitely go on sale later this year.
And the person that's likely to buy this thing, I think, does spend $700 on it.
I think so too.
Guys, if this PS5 Pro is $600 to $700, this is a massive slap in the face to every consumer. This is, like, in my opinion, terrible. They're robbing you. That's just what I think. As far as upgraded specs, he said we'll get a 45% performance boost in renderings, larger GPU and faster memory, but, quote, mostly the same CPU, but with hugely improved ray tracing. So you're paying an extra $200 for extra ray tracing.
That makes a lot of sense. Where that hardware is in 24 versus where it was in like 2019. Those are the parts that are cheaper to get and yield the most gains, and a lot of up-resing tech to look better on 4K TVs, sure. The thing is, it's not that expensive. So yeah, it doesn't really justify hundreds of dollars in price increase. But hey, that's Sony, right? Hey, since we're fully in the realm of educated guesses, kind of what we're trading here, why not also toss in this random post from most reliable of all sources, 4chan?
Yeah, according to this, the PS5 Pro will be announced on September 9th, released on December 6th, and will cost $600 and $700 for the digital and disc-based variants, respectively. Oh, and storage will be 1 terabyte because trust me, bro. So it kind of lines up, that all of this kind of, seems to be, lining up with each other. I agree, though, $700. I don't think we're not even using the PS5, it doesn't feel like, to what it can do. And plus, there's no game. So I don't see it.
This is if they, like I said, if the pricing is correct, it's a response to inflation, right? Of course, because in 2020 the console was $500, and I would imagine inflation's probably somewhere in the neighborhood of 15 to 20% to bring it up to $600 to $700. So I think that's what Sony's thinking. But oh my gosh, I don't know that this is going to sell as well as they think it will at those prices. I'm not sure.
Yeah, and remember, they increased the price of the PS5 multiple times. They actually just raised the price again in Japan, about 12%, I think. I don't want to get too conspiratorial about it, but they don't have a lot of products coming out. They got to get revenue from somewhere, and the bar's got to go up. So I think they're baking in a pretty healthy margin in those hardware units, which is typically not where they make their money. So they might. And also, if they got to pull the emergency ripcord to get an infusion of cash, getting that out this year is a good way to do that, a good stopgap. I would like to think that consumers are savvy enough to maybe consider not buying that, or maybe investing $600 to $700 maybe in a different platform that's a little more open and you can get your games a lot cheaper. A little personal computer. But I think PlayStation as a brand is kind of like Apple. It's got people that will just buy the next thing, the most upgraded thing, the pro-iest model that exists, just so they have the top of the line thing sitting on their shelf. So Sony's gonna rake in some money, and some people are gonna get some good Christmas presents this year, I guess.
Up next, Black Myth Wukong has been wildly popular since it released on PC and PS5, but when is it coming to Xbox? There is all kinds of mystery about this and the true meaning of why it's not out yet.
Well, for a while, there were rumors of an exclusivity deal with PlayStation, but now we're seeing reports that the delay is due to technical issues with the game's Xbox version and not a secret exclusivity deal with PlayStation.
It's weird how that's kind of popping up a few times. That was the deal with Baldur's Gate as well. Eurogamer reports that leaker Xstasis claimed to hear from Xbox developers at Gamescom that this is like double, I heard a guy, that the game is suffering from a bug known as a memory leak, which can cause significant crashes.
As a result, Xstasis said Black Myth Wukong, quote, has not passed Xbox's bug detection tests and has therefore been indefinitely delayed until they manage to optimize the game for the Xbox Series X and S.
Others like Forbes and IGN reported that the Xbox absence was because of an exclusivity deal with Sony.
It's not the kind of game Sony would lock down. Anyway, but Giant Bomb's Jeff Grubb said on Giant Bomb's Game Mess Decides podcast that, quote, Sony has no money marketing deal to keep Black Myth Wukong off of Xbox.
I talked to someone and they're like, as far as I can tell, and this is someone who would know, that Sony has no like money marketing deal to keep this game off of Xbox.
Meanwhile, in June, Eurogamer reported that developer Game Science wrote in an FAQ that, quote, "We are currently optimizing the Xbox Series X and S version to meet our quality standards so it won't release simultaneously with the other platforms. We apologize for the delay and aim to minimize the wait for Xbox users." They added that we will announce the release date as soon as it meets our quality standards, definitely feeding into there were issues with the game rather than it's coming out on PlayStation first.
The easiest solution, the most obvious one, is probably the actual answer. Nobody owns an Xbox outside of North America, all right? And this game is made by China for Chinese players, and you can see that result. I mean, it's selling a lot of PS5s, but this game wasn't going to move Xboxes, and it has no install base in China yet. So they have no business reason to invest in or pursue an Xbox version of the game. And that's kind of a recurring problem with a lot of third-party developers right now. But they had no reason to push for it. There is some chatter that like Sony did help out with tech and like QA, and that got misunderstood as exclusivity or some kind of like monetary trade. That's the latest rumor anyway, or the latest I heard about it. But I think it's pretty straightforward. They made a game, they chose the platforms where their audience is, and that's kind of where it ends.
Next up, the creator of Dino Crisis said, "Don't expect a new Dino Crisis game anytime soon." This comes from Shinji Mikami, who, very legendary, also created Resident Evil, told Eurogamer at Gamescom that he doesn't feel like there's a whole lot of space for a new Dino Crisis game, and he blamed Monster Hunter, which is not the same game, but...
In a recent survey, Capcom fans voted Dino Crisis as the series they most want to see make a return, and as the series they will not support when it comes out.
Right? Yeah, gosh.
Yeah.
Where did all this fondness for Dino... Nobody bought it back when it was out. Anyway.
No.
Yeah. Mikami was a bit taken aback by the survey, saying, "I'm very surprised to hear that." We are too. Mikami added, "The awesomeness of dinosaurs and the stuff you can do with dinosaurs. That's been kind of really nailed down by Monster Hunter in recent years."
He added, "So even if I were to decide to make or remake a new version of Dino Crisis, I don't feel like there's really a whole lot of space for that kind of game right now, just since Monster Hunter has become such a big game. But yeah, it is surprising." So he feels like that market has been cornered, I guess the giant monster market.
I mean, he's surprised because, again, nobody bought Dino Crisis. Whatever. Anyway, the last game of the series was Dino Crisis 3 in 2003, and despite the franchise becoming a cult hit, there's been no word of new games, remakes, remasters, nothing, because no one actually cares.
Yeah, because you know what Capcom did do? They made a game called Exoprimal, where you blow up tons of dinosaurs in a robot suit, and it was awesome, and no one cared.
Yeah, it was.
Where were you, Dino Crisis enthusiast? Were you playing Exoprimal with me and having a lot of fun?
Where were you, one guy who spammed this survey over and over? All right, let's do a 5-second review. And what else? Star Wars Outlaws. Mainly, I wanted to review it because I was just thinking about how people were complaining, the early access players, that they lost 15 to 20 hours. And I'm thinking of so many times I played a game where I like it, but then I lose a save file or whatever, and I'm just like, I'm done. I'm not going back. I liked it, but I didn't like it that much.
If I lost my save file in Outlaws now, the game would be gone forever, dead.
I would be done. I couldn't start over. There'd be no way. All right, let's talk about the upcoming games for this week. First up, Harry Potter Quidditch Champions. Your next chapter takes flight. Immerse yourself in the enchanting world of Quidditch by playing solo or sharing the magic with friends and family. And don't forget, it also benefits J.K. Rowling if you purchase it. It comes to PS5, PS4, Xbox Series X and S, Xbox One, Switch, PC, September 3rd.
The next game, as far as we know, doesn't benefit J.K. Rowling, so it's got that going for it. And also, good old-fashioned fun, Star Trucker. I've been really excited for this. This looks awesome. Haul cargo, trade salvage, and keep your spacesuit close as you search for fame and fortune among the stars. In a game that puts an interstellar twist on the truck sim genre. Coming to PC on September 3rd, also Game Pass.
Next up, Age of Mythology Retold, also in the non-J.K. Rowling canon. From the creators of the award-winning Age of Empires franchise, Age of Mythology Retold goes beyond history to a mythical age where gods, monsters, and humans collide. Comes to the Xbox Series X and S, Xbox One, and PC September 4th.
And yet another video game that will not benefit J.K. Rowling, Necro King. It's a turn-based tactics roguelite with vast deck building. You play as a master of necromancy. Build your skulls deck, rise skeletons and other scum to defeat settlements desecrated by life. Comes to PC September 4th.
Next we got Demon's Mirror, which, you know, J.K. Rowling and Jason C. we're not sure about on this one. Step into the demon's mirror and enter a fantastical nightmarish world in this roguelike deck builder. Strategy meets the arcane in a unique fusion of deck building and chain 3 mechanics. Can you face your demons and come out unscathed? This comes to PC on September 5th.
Next up, Astrobot. Astrobot. Join Astro in a brand new supersized space adventure. It was all caps. That's why I read it that way. The PS5 mothership has been wrecked, leaving Astro and the bot crew scattered all over the galaxies. Time to ride your trusty dual speeder across more than 50 planets, full of fun, danger, and surprises. On your journey, make the most of Astro's new powers and reunite with many iconic heroes from the PlayStation universe. It comes to the PS5 September the 6th.
And finally, a video game that's going to benefit everybody but J.K. Rowling, NBA 2K25. Command every court with authenticity and realism, powered by ProPlay, giving you ultimate control over how you play in NBA 2K25. Define your legacy in my career, my team, my NBA, and the W. Express yourself with an array of customization options and explore an all-new city rich with opportunity and microtransactions. Comes to every single platform September 6th.
Wow, I can't wait to spend hundreds and hundreds of dollars on NBA. But there's a reason I have hundreds and hundreds of dollars to spend on NBA, and it's because of our wonderful patrons that support the production. So you're the reason we get to weave our beautiful magic every week. We have a few patrons here that deserve a special shout out because they never met a nerf they didn't herd. We got DJ Kento, Shaky Pants, Matt Bogenberger, and Brandon Young.
And these patrons never met a womp rat they couldn't bullseye with their T16 back home. Cash Putnam, UASC Battleroid, and J Embers87, thank you very much for supporting the Inside Games Patreon.